Hey, welcome back to Super Mario 64 DS, and before I start off, I made an oopsie last episode, a pretty big one at that. So you might notice this looks a little bit sharper than the last episode, and there is a reason for that. I accidentally put on a filter that I specifically said I didn't enjoy last episode. So that was on the entire time. It may have been on for even a little bit of the episode before that, so I apologize. I really do. I didn't mean to do that at all. I don't even know where it happened, but now Mario is back in his sharp, pixelated glory, so we're back. No more of that awful filter. Hopefully I won't do that again. But I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, maybe the game is a little bit more pixelated than I remembered it being, because it had been a while since the last time I played it and recorded it. So I was like, maybe I did something weird. Maybe it's just a little bit blurrier than I remembered it being, because I'm just remembering things wrong. Nope. I was just being an idiot. So, yeah, that's fun. Anyway, last time in Super Mario 64 DS, I unlocked Mario. And Mario Wings to the Sky is still something I am not capable of doing, even though I have unlocked Mr. Mario himself. So we're not going to go back to the bomb battlefield just yet, but what I am going to go do is unlock a new door. There are quite a few doors on the first floor. That didn't make sense. It didn't in my mind for a second, but I don't know, my mind's just weird and all over the place today. So, whatever. There are doors I can unlock on the first floor is what I'm trying to say. And the first one I'm going to unlock is this one. And inside is a sign right on this wall, which is very difficult to see. I don't know why they placed it here of all places, but here it is. Sometimes you'll bump into invisible walls at the edges of painting worlds. If you hit a wall while flying, you'll bounce backwards. They're essentially just giving an in-game reason for why you bounce off of walls if you go too high using a certain ability. So be careful about that. There's also a toad kind of chilling back here. Mario, why don't you triple jump into the painting? It's such a stylish move. I'll watch it from here. Alrighty, what he's actually talking about is pretty fun, so I am going to show it off. Mario's movement is pretty nice in this game, and he has this thing called a triple jump. I've already explained it, I've already talked about it, but you can triple jump into paintings. I was a little off there. I started triple jumping way too early, but you can dive back into them, whatever. It's not a big deal. I did it anyway, and it's actually a lot of fun to do. I really enjoy it. But enough of that, let's hop right into Whomp's Fortress. Chip off of Whomp's block. Hello, the Lakitu Bros here with a news update. Our hero is about to learn a technique for sneaking up on enemies. According to eyewitnesses, the trick to sneaking up is walking slowly. And, as reported earlier, our hero can use the touchscreen to walk smoothly and run swiftly. So, the reason I'm learning about this right now is because, in the original game of Super Mario 64, we would be introduced to piranha plants here. I've already seen them last episode. I think it was only last episode, actually. I saw them last episode, and I kind of glazed over them. But there are piranha plants, and they are pretty special comparatively to other games. This is the only game that they are really a huge threat. So, that piranha plant is sleeping right over there, and if I get too close to him going too fast, he'll wake up and just start chomping. I believe you can jump onto him in this state, but it's much more difficult than it's worth. But, if you walk up to him slowly, you'll be able to just kind of chill right next to him while he's sleeping. And while he's sleeping, I might as well talk about this theme that plays while he is sleeping. This is called Piranha Plant's Lullaby, and this is the only time in the game it ever plays, if you get close to a piranha plant and he's just sleeping. And there aren't many piranha plants in this game to begin with. There's more bullet bills than there's more piranha plants than there are bullet bills. I got that kind of backwards. But he still doesn't appear too much. So this song isn't something you get to hear too often, which is why I'm going to be quiet and let you listen to it. if you ever get the chance, I would recommend just listening to the song on your own time. It's very, very worth it, trust me, and I really enjoy it. But anyway, if the piranha plant is sleeping and is completely vulnerable, you can kill it really easily that way. Now, I do want to explain this later, but this area right down here, this is very, very expanded comparatively to the N64 game. It is much, much bigger. It's not, like, super duper different. There's not a whole lot going on down there, minus, like, one new star. But, it is pretty special. Something else to notice, a lot of differences in this video so far. These guys used to have eyes. These wouldn't just look exactly like the wall that they were on. They would actually have eyes so you could see where exactly they were going to push out. I don't know why they removed this. You know, I mean, I guess you can also make the argument I don't know why they added it in the original N64 game to begin with, but I really do not know why they removed it. It was in the original game, you're making a remake, why not just put it in? Anyway, another new enemy, a Thwomp. These guys stay in one spot and just thwomp down on the ground. Something extremely important to note about them is that if I wait here, I can get on... Okay, let me actually get this camera a little bit better. That's better. You can actually get on top of piranha plants, and they'll usually be hiding things. That right there is a red coin. I'm not necessarily going for that mission, so it doesn't matter too much. But just know that I'm bad at this game, and you can also hop on top of Thwomps. They look spiky, but they actually don't hurt you. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. They actually never hurt you in 3D Mario. They're always used as an elevation tool rather than something that will harm you unless they land on you. So that's kind of weird. Caution, narrow bridge, cross slowly. You can jump to the edge, or jump to the edge of the cliff and hang on it. And you can jump off the edge if you move slowly. To let go in standard mode, crouch or press the analog. Wow. Analog stick is not the word for that. It's a D-pad, though I am using an analog stick. You can press the D-pad in the direction of your back. To climb up the edge, press B. You can also press the D-pad in the direction you are facing. Essentially, what they're talking about is if you approach a ledge slow enough. If you approach an edge slow enough, you'll be able to just kind of drop down on it. Nothing new there. That's something that's in pretty much every 3D Mario game. It's not super special. But moving on. These are not Thwomps, they are Whomps. They do something a little bit different, though they do share a similar name. They thwomp onto the ground, or whomp onto the ground, whatever. They lay on the ground and try to smush you. So it's kind of a similar concept to Thwomps, just different enough. What I'm doing right there is ground pounding on them immediately to get rid of them. Don't do that if you're going to be getting the 100 coin star. You can actually hop on them, and I'll show that off later, but for now, that's unimportant. Similar to the way we did our first mission in Bomb Battlefield, we were just trying to get to the very top of this area, and now we have to fight a big bad boss. It makes me so mad. We build your houses, your castles, we pave your roads, and still you walk all over us. Do you ever say thank you? No! Well, you're not going to wipe your feet on me. I think I'll crush you just for fun. Do you have a problem with that? Just try to pound me, wimp. Ha! I'm gonna be honest with you. King Thwomp brings up a pretty good point, actually. They're building our roads, they're doing a lot of hard work, manual labor, and we're just killing them. We're essentially just murdering them. You know, Mario's kind of the bad guy here. But anyway, let me actually show off what King Thwomp does before I kind of pound him into oblivion. So essentially, if you get close to him, similar to the other Thwomps, he will go onto the ground. He'll thwomp onto the ground, and his back is the exposed area with the bandage. You want to ground pound on it 3 times, it's super basic, it's really not that hard. It's a little bit easier in the N64 version of the game because he can just, you can walk between his legs, and also there's this weird thing about ground pounding that I might explain a little bit later, and may show off a little bit later, is what I'm trying to say. You can go through solid objects if you are mid-ground pound, so the Thwomp right here, King Thwomp, as well as the Chain Chomp. You can go through them if you're mid-ground pound. It makes those stars significantly easier, but they're not particularly hard in the DS version of the game either. Anyway, no, crushed again. I'm just a stepping stone after all. I won't grovel. Here, you win. Take this with you. And that's the first star of Thwomp's Fortress. Alright. You've recovered 12 power stars. Now you can open the door with the big star. That caught me by surprise. I knew it was 12 power stars to get into the big door, but I kind of forgot they gave you these messages every once in a while. I don't think they give them to you too often later on during the game. Right now they're just saying like, hey, you can go access new areas with your stars. But later on they'll only tell you when it's like extremely important stuff like, hey, now you can go beat the game, stuff like that. But anyway, but Bowser is just ahead. Is that the sound of Princess calling for help? Cool, we can go save the princess. Let's hop right back in. I don't care. The princess can wait, stars cannot. So let's hop right to the top of the fortress. Something I will say about Mario 64 in general is that some of the missions are kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. Even though the DS version does remove some of the more interesting, or some of the less interesting missions rather, there are a few missions which are just kind of rehashes, this one being a perfect example of that. What I'm doing right here is going right back to the top of the fortress, and though geometry has been kind of changed at the top of the fortress, that doesn't make it any less of an interesting mission. You're doing the exact same platforming challenges. I think that's a big negative, and this is something that is kind of prevalent throughout this game. You might have noticed it in Bob-omb's Battlefield as well, because it is something that kind of returns in every single area. But something that does not return in every single area, bullet bills. I wanted to let him hit me because this is the only time you're going to see him in this entire game, minus one area that was added later on, added in the DS version. If you're playing the N64 version, this is the only time you're going to see bullet bills. You know, they did such a good job at making them round in the N64 version, actually. You know, it's very important to look at him at least once, give him the time of day, because he is an important enemy and he's only seen once in the N64 version. He's seen another time in the DS version, but still, that's not a lot. And that's it. And again, a really easy star and a very similar concept. All you do is a slightly different platforming challenge. Ooh-wee, oh wow. I mean, it doesn't make the platforming challenge any less fun. I think the platforming in Mario 64 is very, very fun, but I just don't think it's like, I don't know, repeating it isn't necessarily something I would like to do. Anyway, let's play Shoot into the Wild Blue. Now, if I remember correctly... Oh, no, okay, this is not the star I was thinking of. There's another star which is absolutely awful, and I'll get to that when I get to that, but it's in this world, and I'd like to be able to do a side somersault. Wow. You can do that a little bit easier in the N64 version, again, because analog controls. It's a little bit stiffer in this game, but it's not awful. It's just, like, really tight areas you can't necessarily do that. But anyway, there's another Bob-omb buddy here, and he will prepare the cannon for you. There's one of these in every single level that has a cannon. You know, it's pretty obvious at this point, hopefully. I feel like I'm being very condescending, or more condescending than usual, and I need to stop that, because I don't want to come off as a jerk, so I definitely apologize if I've been like that. But what you want to do is the star is over there. You can check on the minimap where it is, and I want to... That would have been crazy if I actually climbed up on that, but I was an idiot and I pressed the wrong direction on the analog stick. So let's try that one more time. You just want to shoot all the way over to this area. You can't see the star because it's blocked by something in the draw distance. It's a little icky, but it's pretty easy. You just, again, shoot to that area, drop down on this pole, and that's the star. But there is actually another way you can get that, and I'll show it off right now. As soon as I hop back into the level, that is. But it's a pretty easy star either way. Next is red coins on the floating island, but again, I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to hop all the way over here, and there's something that is really fun to do, and it saves a decent amount of time, and it's a lot of fun to do with the movement in this game. So first of all, let me get rid of this guy. You can get out of here. And I'm going to start from the very edge of this, and don't go in that direction. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get this with the controls, but we'll see. Alright, well, I didn't necessarily get it, but you can kind of see what I'm playing at. If you get the angle correct, and go a little bit lower than that, it's very, very easy to actually just grab the star like this. It's also very easy to press the wrong button and fall to your death. You get the point. I'm not actually going to show it off and waste more lives, but you get the point. You get the point. You can do a wall jump up there, and you can get the star pretty easily. It's faster if you're good at the game, but I honestly just don't care that much. I don't think it's really, I don't think it's worth it. I'm gonna be real with you. It's just easier to do the cannon, and maybe it's easier to do in the N64 version. I don't really remember. Again, movement is slightly more stiff in the DS version, but I don't think it removes the fun of the game overall. I think this is still a better version than the N64 version, even with the controls being a little bit wonky from time to time. But you might have noticed that there was a piece of geometry in the level that I kind of avoided last time, even though it was actually in the last mission. Well, not the last mission I played, the mission before that one. Climbing to the top of the tower, whatever it was called. There are some islands all the way up there. Can I? No, I can't. Can I do first person, actually? I feel like I can, I just don't remember how. So, maybe one of these days I'll figure it out. But there are some islands over to my right currently, and I'm gonna get to those. They're at the top, but you have to make your way all up to the top again. And keep in mind, this is actually a good thing that I fell down, because I completely forgot about the red coin, which was right on top of the thwomp. Wow, I'm smart. But again, keep in mind, don't do that. That was awful. Keep in mind, though, what am I trying to say? Ugh, I'm getting interrupted by my own thoughts, left, right, and center. I might take a break after this, because my mind's a little bit hopped up on caffeine, because of the fact that I was a little tired today, and I was like, I want to record, but, you know, I can't do that when I'm tired, so caffeine, and then I just swigged like a whole Dr. Pepper, so that's that. Also, I think in the N64 version of the game, and this version of the game as well, you might be able to skip some of the platforming here, and save a bit of time by going all the way up here, and doing, I believe it's a triple jump, or some form of platforming right here, to get to that side, and it skips a lot of the platforming. It's pretty cool, pretty neat. Also, I think I talked about the fact that slopes can be a little bit annoying in this game already, and that right there is a perfect example. That doesn't seem to be a very big slope, because it isn't a very big slope, but I still start sliding down it anyway. Slopes are a little bit wonky in this game, I'm not gonna lie. They do them much better in later 3D Mario games, but in this game they're kinda icky. So there's not another red coin in this general area. I think I have to go all the way to the top to get it. So let me do that. Again, I know I've been saying this a lot, but when it comes to Thwomp's Fortress, it is a pretty linear level, not gonna lie. And it's just most prevalent here. The same platforming challenges are done over and over and over again. But moving on from that, that plank actually kind of weirded me out as a kid because I didn't know what to do with it. What you're meant to do is kick it on the ground and then jump up and kick it again. It's called momentum, or not momentum really, more physics, and I just didn't know about that as a kid. I was like, I keep punching it and it just doesn't fall down, but it's shaking, so it has to work, right? And then I never thought about the fact that if I jump up and hit it while it's moving backwards, then that'll be a little bit better, a little more momentum in the backwards movement of that plank, and it would move backwards a little bit easier, but I don't know, whatever, I just didn't think about it as a kid. Now, there's one more red coin, and I think I know where it is. I'm pretty sure I know where it is. So let me actually go find that. There was a pretty big area. No, I know where it is, right? No, it's not up here. Okay, well, in the N64 version of the game, there was a red coin right there where you'd have to fall down and grab the red coin. But there is actually a movement of that red coin in this version of the game right over here somewhere. You actually get the red coin from this added extra area. Also, I think this area makes it significantly easier to get the 100 coin star in the DS version of the game. That is a switch star, not going to do that just yet. But yeah, this makes it a little bit easier to get the 100 coin star. I'm definitely down for it, and oh boy, oh wow, I kind of want to save this for later. I don't need it right now, but it's really, really cool. Oh yeah, by the way, hey, there's another bullet bill, one of the things that is not used super often in this game. I think it's this area and one more where it's added in, and that's about it. Even though they do make him a little bit more prevalent, it's not by much. But anyway, yeah, that's where the red coin is now. That's where it is in the DS version. Again, it's moved from the N64 version, which kind of messed me up a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Next time on Super Mario 64 DS, I will hop right back in to Thwomp's Fortress and continue on. But again, that's for next time. Until then.